Hello, welcome to this very special edition of the Pace Report. I'm Brian Pace, reporting from BB King's here in New York City. Blessing the band stage is a sister who has really taken the music world by storm. Buika hails from Majorca, which is a small island in the Mediterranean in Spain, and she comes from a very unique blend of musical styles, which you'll see tonight in her music. She infuses a lot of flamenco as well as jazz, as well as Afro-Cuban rhythms, as well as soul music, as well as she's a very poignant writer, and she writes some very powerful lyrics, which is both uplifting as well as spirited. Tonight I had a chance to sit down with Buika, and we talked about her origins growing up, how she was able to get exposed to her African roots by way of Spain, as well as talk about how this music has changed her, as well as her role as a mother. As you might know, she also has a dynamic book in which she released a couple of years ago, in which she showcases her passion for photography, as well as her poetry, as well as storytelling. So sit back, relax, and enjoy highlights of Buika live here at BB King's as part of the Pace Report here in New York City.
As gentle glances in the night, we never met, but you fear me. You cross to the other side when you see me. You dive in the blameless cause you cannot see. Let's let the night and be your arm. Hey, hey, oh, hey. Let's let the night and be your arm. Hey, oh, oh, hey. As gentle glances tiger eyes, feel like a bat lost in the light. And I know they can because they cannot see. That night is full of beauty angels like me. Oh yeah. Let's play the game of love. Tell me, say the night, please. Cause we could be loved, yeah, we can be loved. Hold me tight, hold me tight. We could be loved, yeah, we can be loved, yeah. Like a hunter in the dark, I feel your tiger eyes, tiger eyes. Just like a hunter in the dark, I feel your tiger eyes, tiger eyes. Just like a hunter in the dark, I feel your tiger eyes, tiger eyes. You made what you cannot see. See, tell me why, tell me why.
Buika, I have been following you for a very, very long time, and I'm glad that we finally have time to sit down and break bread. Welcome back to New York. You're here on your tour. You have a lot going on, and you also have a book that's out. Tell the viewers out here what this book is about.
It's about when you think
but you don't talk, that you think better. You know, I sometimes feel that like to talk is like a curse. Like you didn't ask for it, but you have to. They teach you, you have to do it. And so we are talking from when we wake up until when we go sleep, and we expect that we're going to be focused and say the right thing 24/7, and that's impossible. Because if you are with this course on you that you got to talk all day, probably you're going to say a lot of bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Because it's impossible to be right 12 hours a day. So that is what my book is talking about.
What inspired you to, because you're an artist, you're a performer, you're a singer, you write your own songs. How far was it from you to write and express yourself in words in this book?
Well, really do think, because I was growing, when I was an adolescent, I was growing thinking that I was a completely idiot. And yeah, it's true. I mean, it's true. That I was a completely idiot, that I was a completely useless person. I didn't know how to do anything. I'm from the hood. And I didn't go so much to school. I didn't do, I was a little bit of an enfant terrible. You know what I'm saying? So when you discover that you are good doing something, you want to be the best. I didn't have no expectations about me. So when I had discovered that I was a good singer, or at least a good creative, then everything changed so far.
You know what I have noticed about you too, and this, you're gonna trip when I tell you this. Your English has gotten 100 times better since the first time. When you came out here in the United States, I would say about 2004, but your first record came out about 2006. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed that now you're speaking English very fluently. How did this happen?
Because I want to communicate. People here in this country is very friendly and it's easy to learn.
I noticed that. Your album, you are currently on the world tour, and I noticed this project is a little different from all of your other projects. One, there's a Caribbean flavor to this, and also you seem to be reaching outside of the normal music that people are aware of. Why did you decide to move in this direction?
Well, because it was the first time in my life I was working with totally freedom, with and freedom is probably one of the best states, but it's one of the most difficult too. It's very difficult freedom, because when they tell you you can do what you want to do, wow, that's a tricky question, because especially when you get used to do what they tell you to do, it's not easy. But in this album, I was trying to record and to compose and to work with no fears. I did not want to have fear because the radio station is not going to play my song because it lasts longer than 3 minutes. The record label is not going to be able to listen to this album because they don't like jazz music. Audience is not going to like that I'm singing in English. I mean, I was just trying to run away from the fears. And I was trying to feel, like total freedom at the time to listen to my music. And that is the result.
You have a very, very prolific producer who co-produced this record with you. He's worked with the likes of Coldplay and some other artists. There is a more pop-oriented flavor to this project compared to some of your other projects.
Yeah, because, I'm a good girl. I deserve to be everywhere.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? When you're a bad girl, there's some places where it's better that you don't go. There's some people that it's better that you don't talk with. But when you're a good girl, you can go everywhere, hell or heaven. It's good because you're going to behave, in the right way.
Tell everybody about, because this album really means to live without fear. And one of the title tracks on this record, the song that was released here, is Carry Your Own Weight with Jason Mraz. And now he has a whole different flavor going. You guys musically, diametrically, totally opposite of each other, but this song works.
Yeah, that proves that when we cross the line, we are bigger than what they tell about us.
That's very, very, that's deep, because I listened to the song Good Men, And as I said, there's a Caribbean connection to this album. A lot of the messages are still important to what you relate to in your songs and lyrics, and this is a beautiful song also.
Yes, because I mean, I'm from Spain. And I work a lot in Latin America and in, in different countries, Asia and the countries like that. And now, in these last years, I hear a lot that man is the son of a bitch, man hit the woman, man is not a good thing, man, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of good men out there and a lot of women that aren't that good. At the end, it's not about men, it's about the person. It's not. If someone is being a bad someone, it's not because he's a man or a woman. It's because he's a bad person. You know what I'm saying? So, with these songs, with this song, I wanted to, break a little bit, this like ugly face that they put in front of the men today, because I don't think it's being fair. Because there's a lot of men doing amazing things. My brothers, my brothers are doing amazing things. They're good men. There's a lot of good men out there. A lot. I mean, I'm honest. I think that there's more good men than bad men, but the bad men is more noisy. They make more noise. But I think that there's a lot of good men out there. This song is dedicated to New York City. All my love. Because that was the first song I sang when I came here for the first time. Cuéntala a tu padre,
talk about some of your background. What makes a lot of Buika very, very interesting is that one, you're from Spain by way of Africa, Guyana, and is it Guinea? It's Guinea, Guinea. I want to ask you how much of your African roots, which your mother and father instilled upon you as far as tradition and culture, is still in your music, but also your day-to-day being a mother now. How has that affected you to this day?
I mean, Africa is a good beginning.
It's where we're from.
Yeah, right. And so I feel that all what I have from Africa is all what I have from my parents, all what my aunties, cousins, because I have never been in my mama's country. I've been in Mozambique. I've been in, a lot of places. Now I'm going to South Africa. I've been in Africa many times, but I have never been in my mama's country. Because when you are a son of a refugee, there's something in your feelings that it's not that simple for you to go to that country, because you hear many stories. You hear, in certain part of you still being afraid. And then you gotta understand that I was grown in a place where we were the unique black family in the whole place. So I get used to be the unique black family in the supermarket, in the classroom, in the cinema, in a park. In the whole show with 2,000 people, I was the unique black girl in the whole show. So to me, to grow as an African, but not African, because I remember that when I used to say in my family, I'm African, they used to tell me, no, you're Spanish. And when I used to say to my friends in Spain, I'm Spanish, they used to tell me, no, you're African. So to me, this question is not that easy to answer. I really do feel that Africa is in the world. We all are Africa.
Right. Because I was going to say, the sidebar, you perform Afro-Cuban music,
right,
which goes back to Cuba, but also goes back to Western Africa. I mean, it's interesting how you embraced all of this. Now, I need to ask you, too, your mother also taught you music of her native Guinea. What were some of the things that she taught you music-wise? And were there a lot of songs that she handed down to you that at some point have you recorded or you're about to record in the future?
Ooh, I use them on stage every night. I use every sound, every lullaby, everything, but people don't understand and just they think that I'm doing jazz music. But that is what I use on my stage when I'm lost. It's my memories, it's my mamas, it's my, yeah.
Spain had to be different too, because that was where you got your flamenco bite, but also there are other elements of American music that you got also. And I got to ask you how flamenco came into Buika's existence.
Well, I was growing in the hood, and there in Mallorca back in time in the hood, it was flamenco music all over. That was the music for, in the streets. And then I recognized that certain anger on me makes me wanting to conquer that music. I have the thought that until Europe do not recognize them tribes, they're gonna still have problems with them. They're always gonna have problems because they don't recognize them tribes, And in certain how, when you are a son of a refugee, you want to be the best of the best. You want to be better than your friends. Actually, you have to prove that you're better than your friends to be normal. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I've been through that. All my brothers and sisters been through that, and I think that the flamenco came into me in there when I knew that it was like incredible, amazing, or strange that I was singing flamenco for the white people. Then is when I thought, I want to be good doing this. It was a fight for survive. It was an anger, But music is that magic that you can be angry, and the result of your anger is beautiful music. That's why sometimes I'm angry.
Well, some of the most poetic music has been from experiences and bad experiences. Look at Marvin Gaye, What's Going On. Look at Exodus, Bob Marley. I mean, some of the most prolific music has come from chaos and strife.
So to me, it was like a kind of, like cross against my own fears. Like, hey,
Maybe I'm not white, maybe I'm not this, maybe I'm not that, but I can do it. And after I started to do it, I was like, that is so silly. I don't need to be black. I don't need to white. I don't need to be like the people around me. I can be my own self and do what I want with music because I'm a free node. I'm a free node. My skin told me that, my mind told me that, and my freedom told me that. I'm a free node. It was tough, but to me it was worthy.
Here it is. You're sitting up winning Latin Grammys, and you're performing in your native Spain as well as the motherland, Africa. Explain how people from Africa have responded to your music and what you're doing versus someone from Spain who knows who you are. There's got to be some contrast and differences and similarities.
You know what I'm feeling, that like Africa is like, in certain how, it's like God, because she's the mama of everything. She loves all her kids, Africa is an amazing place in the world, and he loves everybody. Africa loves everybody. No matter which music you do, no matter if you're white, Chinese, whatever, if you go to Africa, they're gonna love you. They're gonna pamper you. They're gonna give you nyami food. They're gonna make you dance. They're gonna make you feel the earth. My music in Africa, incredibly, people loves it. People loves it.
Más que una música, era una cultura de oscuro metal. Llevaba el dos tiempos, rendía un aplauso. Ya le quitaron la mamá, la fina, y al lienzo llevaba aquí el grafito. Y cuando fui verde, la que te miraba, el prove gitano, así le cantaba, de maricarme. Porque tú eres la clavecina que desde la tierra al cielo todo lo termina, que desde la tierra al cielo todo yo sé
How was the transition from Spain to London to the United States? Because now you live in Miami. How has that adjustment been for you as a performer and as an artist and also a mother?
Papi, I'm always good. You know what? Everywhere you go, there's good people, good food, good music, good dreams. Because at the end, a church is a church because of the people, not because of the religion. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that is the thing. No matter where you go, if what you do is honest and you sing in your truth, Papi, you got a place in there too.
I was telling you a few minutes ago before we started this, I saw you at Town Hall. And my impression of you was just, I was awestruck, because here's this tiny person with this gigantic voice, and you're painting these poetic stories through your music, and people were just, you couldn't hear a pin drop parts of the show because they were so in tune to what you were doing. How did that come about?
I don't know. I never saw my show. I never listened to my music. I'm a very shy person. But what I do know is that what I have, it comes from somewhere and it goes to some others. It doesn't belong to me. I don't feel responsible of what you feel when you hear me singing, because I know from where am I singing, but I don't know from where are you listening to me. I know that right now, when I'm on stage or when I'm singing, I know that I'm playing in your secret room, but I'm not allowed to go in there, just my music. So it's a mystery.
Tell me some of your musical influences growing up and some of your musical influences to this day.
Ooh, everybody. Those were the 80s, Papi, you remember?
We're the same age. We're the same age.
Those were the fucking 80s, man. That was the time of good music. It was everybody there. Beside the flamenco and Lola Flores, Paco de Lucia, Camarón, that, man, Tina Turner, I don't know, Prince, Michael, Whitney, it was everybody. And then you got Jungle Train, you got Charlie Parker, you got all the past. Then it was everything. I was growing in one of the best ages for music.
Yeah, here in America we had a thing called MTV, and it was this melting pot of, for a minute, MTV didn't play a lot of black artists. In fact, what happened was Michael Jackson's record company threatened to take all of their artists off. Yes, it's a very true story.
Really?
Very true story. Michael Jackson at the time had put out Thriller, and MTV was playing all the white artists, the rock artists. They were playing Springsteen, they were playing Aerosmith, they were playing the white artists, but you very seldom saw a Prince video. You very seldom saw a Run DMC video. And then the record company, one of the big wigs, I'm having a mind fart, the gentleman who was running CBS at the time said, if you don't start playing Michael Jackson's videos, we're going to take everything out. And that kind of opened up, and Michael kind of was the video poster child and Prince of the 80s. So I kind of feel what you're saying.
It was everybody. It was then in the jazz. It was John Patitucci. It was Chick Corea. It was everybody. It was everybody there. Right. Everybody was there, and we were adolescents, and we were growing with a lot of amazing influences on our heads. That was beautiful. But now they don't want us to think. They don't want us to listen to good music anymore.
And that's a beautiful thing you're doing, because you have really kind of gone against the grain. There are you and a couple of artists I can think of right now that really are not trying to get on radio, but your fan base has been strictly word of mouth, especially here in America.
Yeah, but there's radios and radios. You know what I'm saying? I was growing with the radio. I'm in love with the radio. But what they're doing now with the radio, that's not good. That's not cool. Because radio was the platform where you could expose your music real as it was. And if a song was 11 minutes was your song on the radio. Today, that is impossible. That's not cool. It's not nice that the TV, radios, companies, corporations, they change the way of music. That's not cool. A musician have to change the way of music. A composer have to change the way of music, but not a corporation. You know, that's what I think. And that's the reason why I don't sell so much albums. Because when the corporations hear me, they go like, we don't want that girl.
Do you think that as a mother now, raising a child here in America with all the things that are going on politically and a lot of things that are going on in the black community, do you think that your voice is very prevalent right now, and do you have a lot of things that you're getting ready to say, or that you are saying that people really want to, that you want them to hear in your music?
If you want me to be honest, now world is very confusing now. Not just the political situation of the United States. The political situation in Spain is, oh my God. The political situation in Iran is, oh my God. The political situation in Turkey, in Egypt, in everywhere is, oh my God. I mean, the only thing I'm trying to do with my kid is that no matter what you listen to the news, you need to listen to the news. No matter what you read in the newspapers, you need to read the newspapers. The world is an amazing place to be, and it's worthy to fight for it, you know. And this probably today is one of the most difficult things to do in education, when you're trying to make your kids to be confident with life, and then you let them see the news. It's very difficult then that they are confident in life, you know what I'm saying? So I think that if you can get that, at least if it's just a little every day, then you're a great composer. Really.
That'll do it again for this very special edition of the Pace Report, reporting live here at BB King's here in New York City. I'd like to personally thank the talented Buika for her time. Make sure you go out and support her latest CD, which is entitled Viver Si Midu, as well as her book, For Those Who Love Difficult Women and Ended Up Letting Go, which is now available on Amazon.com as well as her website. I'd like to personally thank the staff and management here at BB King's for their warm hospitality. As always, please visit my website, www.thepacereport.com, for my weekly column as well as my past segments. Until next time, remember, if it's in the groove, it'll make you move. Till next time, peace.